Saint Slayer Spear of Sacrilege demo is out, and immediately you know it's a love letter to the original Castlevania games. Developed by the small team at Little Mo Games, Saint Slayer is a 2D 8-bit action platformer inspired by the legendary series. Castlevania was one of my favorite NES games. The tone, the music, the challenge. Simon's Quest was the first one I played, and that shit sticks with me to this day. I don't care if people say it's the worst one. That game had so many great ideas, the various towns, the day-night cycle, I could go on. It had my attention from the title music, but I digress. So what to make of this demo? Does it pay proper homage to its inspiration? You play as Rudiger, and even kind of looks like Simon Belmont, and the story is a bit more grounded, pulling from real historical events. Instead of vampire lore, Saint Slayer leans into the world of Catholic relics. After the 9 Years' War, strange events in Rudiger's village lead him to the local church, where a priest is trying to claim the Spear of Longinus, the spear that pierced Jesus on the cross. After defeating him in the demo's boss fight, the priest flees, and Rudiger holds the spear thinking, I could leave it or...
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean?
The 8-bit chiptune music captures that NES vibe perfectly. We're not talking Castlevania at its peak, that's an unfair bar, but the tracks are catchy and fit the game really well so far. Those familiar with Castlevania will recognize the way Rudiger moves, climbs stairways, and for better or worse, the mechanics around his jump. I think this works, but players unfamiliar with classic Castlevania may find it stiff and frustrating, and at worst, bad design. They would be wrong. Rudiger can also execute a sort of downward thrust while in air, similar to Shovel Knight or Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales. It's powerful and allows you to stay in air chaining hits onto other enemies. It gets even more interesting when he gets hold of the spear. He's able to throw it at walls to use as a platform. He can hurl it at enemies, even cutting through the projectiles. He can then go and retrieve it, although I'm not a fan of how the spear bounces off the enemies. Visually it softens the impact of landing a solid hit. I do love many of the other animations and small details. At the start of each stage, Rudiger locks in with some knife play, airboxing, or kneeling for prayer. Very appropriate. He also gives us a nice middle finger if he falls in the water. When you return to the spot of his death, you'll see his hat floating where he drowned. If he dies on land, you'll find his rotting corpse. Enemies also have great attention to detail, especially when killed. They'll blow up in a burst of blood, guts, bone, leaving behind bloody innards that burst when Rudiger walks over them, which makes every hit more satisfying. Enemy movement can be tricky and will hit you if you're unprepared, but you can quickly learn their patterns, unlike those insane bouncing hunchbacks from Castlevania. The level design is linear and, like the demo itself, shorter than I expected. It took me a little over 15 minutes, and that's with a few deaths. I played on both normal and hard mode, and the main thing I noticed was the enemy density. There's also this set piece level where you jump between two moving carriages. This is where that classic jump mechanic and the knockback got to me, and reminded me of some of the frustrations of an old school Castlevania game. The game also appears to support co-op, although I didn't get a chance to try it in the demo. Saint Slayer feels like someone said, let's make NES Castlevania in 2025. We'll have to wait for the full release to see if they can pull it off, but if you enjoyed Castlevania 1, 2, 3, you should absolutely give this demo a try. It's approachable, relatively easy, and adds enough to make it its own. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you already played it? I'll definitely be keeping my eye on the full release come early 2026. Thanks for watching this video. Take care.